Well, there's a huge amount of interest both online and offline over a book that's going to be released in October this year. Chetan Bhagat is back with his very latest. There's only a small bit of a teaser that's been released to his millions of fans all over the world. The book is called Half Girlfriend, and Rahul Kaval now has Chetan Bhagat live.
Literary snobs are cooking a snoot, but there's one man who's laughing all the way to the bank. The most selling author in the history of Indian fiction. Joining us on this broadcast is the marketing whiz himself, best-selling author Chetan Bhagat, who's pulled a huge coup because usually books in their publishing houses don't even have enough money for a lavish book launch. You got a front page ad all across to announce the launch of a new book. Joining us also at this time is Kalyan Krishnamurthy. He's the Senior Vice President Retail at Flipkart. They've just announced expansion plans of $1 billion. That's where all the money is coming from in putting these ads together. I want to go across though first to Chetan Bhagat, who shared the first chapter of his new book, Half Girlfriend, that comes out in October. What in the world, Chetan, is a half girlfriend? And did you have one back in college?
Well, I mean, Rahul, I found that in India relationships are not so simple. A lot of boys think they have a girlfriend, but they're not sure if she's their girlfriend. They're more than friends, but they're not yet fully in a relationship. So I thought we need a halfway house. We need another term to describe two people who are close to each other but not yet in a relationship or may never be in a relationship, and that's half girlfriend. So that's where it came from.
So is this something that you've coined up with, or is this some lingo that you've picked up in all your travels? What's the idea behind the half girlfriend?
Something, well, I wanted a catchy title. It's an out and out love story, and I wanted a really catchy title. This time I'm taking rural India and I'm writing about a boy who doesn't speak good English. So I want people of that profile also to pick up the book. So I wanted to give a very catchy, very attractive title which becomes almost a catchphrase, like two states became a little bit of a catchphrase to describe couples from different communities. So I wanted something like this to come up for people to describe their relationship, which may not be, girls may not be their girlfriend and they are more than friends. So I thought, let's give something to the youth because I think this category is needed.
There's been a lot of outrage, especially on Twitter, from the literary types, if they can be called that. Somebody is calling you the Paris Hilton of writing. Somebody is saying you're the Sarah Palin of writing, and that it's all marketing, it's all gimmicks. It's this investment banker who somehow found a way of conning all these young people by dumbing down his content and getting them to buy his books. How do you respond to all these people?
Well, even the UPA government couldn't con people forever. So I've been going strong from 10, 12 years. And if you're writing in a category, something like books, where your product is out there, people read the book. Only if they like it, they'll pick up the next one or they'll finish reading it. I don't think this is a category where you can really con people or do anything, or am I about the glamour like Paris Hilton was all about the glamour and partying. I don't think. It's a compliment if people think it's mainly because of my good looks that I'm famous, but I know that is not true. There is a marketing element involved for sure, but it is a very tough category today. I don't see my competition as other authors or other books. I see my competition as apps, video games, the internet, WhatsApp, anything which has the young person's mind, and I have to take the mind away from there and bring them to a category which is a 1,000-year-old category like books. So it's not easy. So there is nothing wrong in promoting a good product, which is books, and I'm very passionate about this story. I've worked very hard on it. So why not do a bit of marketing?
I remember this one event that we were at together in Mumbai, Chetan, where this one lady who was a tribal from Aurangabad started crying because she was so happy to see you, because she said that it's only after he read your books that her son started reading books, and before that he'd never read a book in his life. So what you've essentially done, and that's something snobs can't ever take away from you, is introduce books to a whole bunch of people who otherwise would never bother to buy or read a book in their lifetimes.
Yeah, because see, English is a different levels of proficiency in people. There are some people, the people you are referring to on Twitter, they are, almost English is first language level of proficiency today. They think in English, they write in English, they tweet in English. But there is a whole category, millions and millions of Indians who know English, but they actually don't think in English. You and I are thinking in English and talking now, but they are thinking in English and translating each word. And they are people who get a big complex, society judges them. And should they never get to read books? Should there be not any books written for them? Should they not, are they just not good enough to read books? And that's the theory I don't subscribe to. I feel I have to get them to read books. I have to write books which are still good. Still good books, good stories that touch your heart, but still simple enough for them to understand. And that's what I'm trying to do. For me, I have written this book for the non-English types this time. I've written this book for people who are out, who the elitists have kept out of the English world, and I'm going to bring them back here and tell them, listen, you guys deserve to
Chetan, is there pressure on you to improve the quality of your writing? When you started out, people panned you saying, this guy can't write. He can't write one straight sentence in English. Despite that, your book was a bestseller. People are saying none of the big awards would even ever consider having you on their shortlist. Does it at some level play on your mind that despite being hugely commercially successful, you haven't won any form of literary acclaim?
Well, Rahul, all the literary awards that are famous have a requirement that you have to be published in the UK, which is like a bizarre requirement. Like for the Booker Prize, you have to be published in the UK. People don't know this. I am focusing on India. My market is India. They will not consider my book even. So, I'm not going to publish in the UK and write a book for that market to get that award. The award is the millions of people who keep on reading me. But at the same time, there is an effort to improve the quality. We have taken feedback all through the years, make it more simple, but also make the editing really tight. For example, 7 editors are right now working on Half Girlfriend as we speak. That includes someone like a David Davidar, who's now affiliated to Rupa with Aleph. He's read it. He was CEO of Penguin America, Canada. He's given me feedback on this book. So we are doing the world-class stuff we can. Of course, if it's still not good enough for you, then I'm sorry. But we do try our best and we do try to make people happy.
But what is it about commercial success that makes some people so unhappy? You've got, you recently wrote the screenplay for Salman Khan's blockbuster Kick. Now, people who watched it, several of them came back and said, oh, I got a headache because of how bad that movie is, and yet it's raked more than 200 crores. So what is it about Chetan Bhagat, Salman Khan and their commercial success which is so unappealing to a whole bunch of people who think that this just gives them a migraine?
See, they're not lying. The movie doesn't work for them, and Kick is very different from Half Girlfriend. Firstly, Half Girlfriend is an English book. Kick is an out-and-out Salman movie. But you're talking of people in India with different tastes and different sensibilities, and you have an India out there that you may not see every day on Twitter, but they want Salman Khan to be the hero they want to see, and you have to make a movie for them, and the reward is the collections they give you. That is that business model over there. So that's more I think we should be very non-judgmental about these things and learn from these phenomena. I did Kick to learn that what is it that makes Salman Khan's come to the theatre, what is it the
what did you learn for? What did you find?
I want to reach Indians. I find that people need hope. I find that people need to take a break when they come into the theatre. They don't have that much money to see every movie that comes. They want to come to a country bar and get drunk. They have not come here to choose the grape variety in wine. So that's just the state of the customer base. So if you are going to say,
but well, this critics would accuse you of dumbing down content, whether it's a screenplay, whether it's a book, they'll say you dumb it down to the lowest common denominator.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Otherwise, I would not be having the kind of impact I am having today. There is a lot, like for example, this is a book on rural. I don't want to reveal much about Half Girlfriend. The marketing hook is the Half Girlfriend element, but the book is about rural India, the issues that exist in rural India. I've personally spent a lot of time in Bihar trying to research those issues. I don't know of any movie or book that covered the issues Half Girlfriend will cover. And it will cover it in a nice way that it still looks like a love story, but you know a lot about the state of rural India in the country. I don't think that's dumbing down at all. It's just a simplistic idiom, but there is a thought behind it, and you know, that's okay. I think again, it's being too judgmental when say, oh, you're dumbing down, as if everybody, the millions of people who read my books are educated people only. No, they understand English, so they are saying that they're all dumb people who are buying my books. I mean, you know,
stay with me, Chetan. I want to go across to Kalyan Krishnamurthy, who heads retail at Flipkart. Now, you've got a $1 billion treasure chest, and we're seeing some of that already being used in Chetan Bhagat's book. Is this an attempt to try and stall off Amazon, which is coming in with an even bigger treasure chest of $2 billion? Because usually, such a massive pre-launch publicity blitz is not seen for any book ever, and if ever it's seen usually for an FMCG product, that too around Diwali. Kalyan.
Hi Rahul. Today Flipkart is already India's largest e-commerce marketplace. We started our journey 7 years back with books as a category. The primary focus of our business is to provide customer delight and an online shopping experience which is simple, seamless and delightful. Now, coming to the specific intent of this particular ad, it's more about giving visibility and reaching out to the millions of fans of Chetan Bhagat, who is India's best-selling author today, across the length and breadth of India. So on the other question, as I just mentioned, we are by far India's largest e-commerce marketplace and platform. All of our initiatives are directed towards the customer. We don't have specific actions or initiatives directed towards competitors.
How many of these Chetan Bhagat books do you hope to sell, Kalyan?
I will not be able to share specific numbers right now, Rahul.
Chetan, you say in this book that English is the new caste system. If that is the case, what caste are you? Because each time you end a sentence, you end it with no, acha, which a lot of people don't think is proper English. So if English is indeed a caste system, where do you fit into the caste hierarchy, Chetan?
I think I'm definitely not Brahmin. So I don't know what caste I am. I don't believe in the caste system, you know. So I don't believe in the caste system. I know I'm definitely not Brahmin if I were to be slaughtered, and I'm here to break this caste system. I'm here to make this language is very important. I'm not anti-English. Please let me be very clear. I write in English. I love English, but at the same time, I'm anti-elitism in every sphere. That includes English, and I want to tell all the guys out there: try all your might with your snobbery. India's time has come, and Indians will speak English, and they will all enter the club that you have occupied and done nothing for the rest of the country. And I'm going to make sure they come, and every kid in this country will read an English book one day. Every kid in a slum will read an English book one day, and you try and stop me if you can.
Are we seeing a class fight, Chetan, between the aspiration that you hope and claim to represent of those who don't speak English flawlessly and those who stay in South Mumbai, South Delhi, who go to fancy convents or public schools, who are brought up speaking impeccable English? Do you sense that there is a class uprising, that these people want to smash the doors that are close to them, enter that club, and that's the sentiment you play on, Chetan?
No, I think for this time, yes, I'm playing on that. I mean, this depends on the book to book, but definitely I found that people who don't have a good proficiency in English feel a lot of complex in this country. For example, Rahul, if you don't know the third law of motion of Newton in physics, you can say, I don't know physics, and I will not laugh at you. But if somebody doesn't pronounce one English word properly, and English is not our first language in this country, the people who speak English will laugh at them. And they feel really small, and that's not right. And when will that nonsense stop? And if an English language writer is willing to say, listen, we're going to stop this nonsense, then why not? And I think this kind of a judgmental behavior about a language which is not even our own, it's a very important language. We need to learn it to progress in life. That's it. It is not a language to show how superior you are. So that is, yeah, I feel very strongly about it, and that is why I know it's a very strong work. This book is going to really connect, because I have written it with a full heart this time.
Well, you can love him, you can hate him, you can't ignore him, you can mock him, You can went against him. He's the man laughing all the way to the bank. India's most selling author, Chetan Bhagat, for creating the amount of buzz that you have. Congratulations, and we look forward to seeing what this book is about. Intrigued by the phrase half girlfriend. You might have heard it first through Chetan Bhagat. I'm sure there'll be a lot more that we will hear about half girlfriend from here on. Thank you also, Kalyan Krishnamurthy, for joining us from Bangalore.